Charles Barkley says he got great advice from Grant Hill's mom about financial literacy. She says, quote, "Do not take care of your family and all your friends." Woo! Well, this is going to be juicy. John, I want to hear your experience because you're a multi-billionaire. Your road traveled in terms of taking care of your social circle and your family.
I will tell you what, and this is the honest to God truth, no good deed goes unpunished. That is a ridiculoly amazing phrase, so wise. Here's the sad truth. I am like, you look at mi casa, su casa. You need a place to stay? Stay with me, no problem. You need a shirt? Here's a shirt. You know what? I've only got one, but you can have mine. And throughout my career, people have come to me and said, you know what, hey man, I need some money, and not like $5. Like, hey, I need some money, I'm in some trouble, I need whatever. And, it's not like I was born with the silver spoon in my mouth, right? Like my dad worked for the government, my mom was in education. It's not like we were loaded at all. But even with that being said, it's like if I had $10, I'd give somebody $10. Now, as you ascend the throne in your own world and you start accumulating some money and you have family and friends around you, those people who, for whatever reason, this is more, in terms of my experience, this is more on the friend side than the family side. But the friend side, they come and they say, hey, man, can I have some of that dough that you earned? And you're like, well, when I only had $10, I gave you $10. And, oh, now I have a lot more zeros after the 10. So, well, here's some of that. And you say, you know what? They go, I'll pay you back. No problem. I'll pay you back. No problem. Here's what ends up happening. Is if you give somebody something that is of significance, one of two things happen. They feel indebted, like, oh my God, I really need to pay this back. Or they say, I mean, he gave it to me once. I mean, I wanted him to give it to me twice. I mean, that was pretty easy. And then it comes back again and again and again. And then when it's like, dude, I've given you more money than you're worth, I can't keep doing this. Then it's like, what is wrong with you? You greedy SOB. You're like, dude, man, I was just trying to help you before, and now you're mad at me, brah. That's it.
Dog. Oh, you hit the nail on the head. Let's talk through this one. I have too many stories for this, but let me try and pick out some. Because the first advice that I received was from my agent at the time, Brad Blank. And he was really trying to break it down the right way. He was like, look, you just got paid, you got your bonus. Don't take care of your family, don't take care of your friends. Keep it to yourself. And he even gave me another nugget. He's like, you know what's interesting? And he's like, don't take this the wrong way, but it's just the truth based on my data. He's like, you black players go immediately and buy mama a house. Immediately and go buy daddy a car. And then my white players, you know what? When they get their money, guess what? It's theirs. And I was like, really? And I was like, because I was just bought into, like, I thought everyone did that. And that was the first time I felt the distinction, like you actually don't have to take care of everybody. It wasn't even racialized to me. It was just like, oh, there's an option, but I'm going to choose this. Then I go to the rookie symposium. Darryl Green sitting up there, the legend Darryl Green. And he says, hey, I don't want you guys giving anybody tickets except your mom and dad. 2 tickets a game and that's it. Now I'm like, okay, I don't know which way is up. And this advice sounded too damn harsh. Anyway, you fast forward, I get a chance to meet Calvin Hill from Yale University, Ivy Leaguer, who was working with the Dallas Cowboys, and obviously Grant Hill's father and his wife is Grant Hill's mama. And he's breaking it down to me too. And here's some stories that I hear they were breaking down. I did everything the wrong way. I did everything to help someone else in terms of what their circumstance was. So if they needed $500, I got you. Why? Because I didn't think $500 was a lot of money when I was making that. Oh, my mom needed this and that. Well, my mom was always there for me when I needed this and that. So here you go. And like you said, no good deed goes unpunished. How about this? When you run the math of it, and if you need $5,000, do you know how much you really need to make to give me back my $5,000? Because think about it, I never ran this math into the end of the process. If you need $5,000, you got to make at least 10 so you can give me 5, and then you still be at a position where you are with $5,000. You're not going to go broke over giving me $5K. So then I start saying, wait a minute, I'm asking people to make twice as much as they can make to just give me back my money so they can have half of it. If y'all didn't catch that, rewind it. Point being, they ain't gonna do it. So then they get to like John's point. They get to this place. They either say, man, you stingy. Man, you tripping. Man, you change. And I'm like, nah, man, you broke. You ain't gonna get it this way. I'm trying to help you, big dog. And I used to hate it. I used to hate it so much, John. They put that guilt on you. You already feel survivor's remorse because you survived the circumstance that maybe they're still stuck in, and it just goes all bad.
It does. And I got a great little quick story for you. Well, I can't tell you the number of people who I've helped out and continue to help out. And honestly, I don't let the sort of scars of the past affect my present decision. My expectations have changed. So, all right, if you need help, here, I'm going to help you out. And you want to know what? Don't pay me back because I know what happens. Just don't ask me again because I know what happens. So here's I'm helping you out. But here's what happened, Marcellus. True story, up one side, down the other. Had a very, very good friend of mine come to me and say, dude, I had 2 kids. I just had a 3rd kid. And oh my God, a totally surprise. We outgrew our house. I need to now buy a new house. Brother, can you help me buy a house? And I did. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to help you buy that house. And I gave multiple 6 figures to help with the down payment. And I'm like, here you go. Now, what do you think happens? It wasn't the next year. It was the following year. This is the quote. John, I've run into some financial trouble, and you helped me out last time. And I really prayed on this, and Jesus told me that you need to give me more money. That is a quote. Wow. Jesus told me. I'm like, Jesus, the man who said, give up all your earthly possessions? The man who's like, look, are you sure you were talking to the same Jesus and not like Jesus down the street? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I already bought you a house. That wasn't good enough? That's true.
That was Jesus. That was Jesus. You ran into it at the restaurant. That wasn't Jesus on the cross. No, B, you lying on the Lord, my Savior. Oh, John. First of all, I didn't think somebody could out-trick me, but you just took the cake. Where's the scoreboard? Brinkus won. Wiley won. Like, we're tied now, brother, because I thought I was bad when I was giving my mother hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not up to $1 million. But it's my mama, okay? My dad, he came in second place. It's my daddy. Now, a couple of them girls got me 4 engagement rings, okay? A couple cars here and there. All right, set you up, all that. But the one that always sticks out is this girl that I was dating, and she was off the beaten path. So I was typical. I was dating the normal type, model. We didn't have IG back then, but basically the girl who just knew all the players, and that's my friend or that's my brother. And I was like, yeah, okay. I used to date that girl, right? And I ain't mind because I wasn't really that serious and trying to go that far anyway. Here we go. I meet this girl. She's super quiet, John. Super sweet, in school. I'm like, oh, she's trying to get her master's. I'm like, oh, she's so gorgeous and so sweet. Oh, and then somewhere in that sweetness, she suddenly asked me, I'm really struggling with my tuition, so I'm thinking about dropping out of school. Womp. I could see the violin starting to play, and I'm like, oh, let me help you with this. I said, how much is tuition? Oh, I couldn't ask you. I said, but you just told me that you got problems, so yes, you can. Let's hear it. And I'm just buttering her up. I'm loving her. I'm like, this is going to be my girlfriend. She said $50,000. And I swear, my brain, the left and right brain, started to fight. Hey, you better not give that girl that money. And the other one was like, no, be good. You were in a bad situation before, you needed help. And they start squabbling. And guess what I did? I walked into the room, grabbed my checkbook, and boy, did I feel like King Joffrey Joffer. I was so pumped. I grabbed that check, 50, comma, 000, decimal point, 00, signature, click, here you go. Tuition paid. That was the dumbest thing I ever did in my life. I swear, she went to school, but we never hung out again, it felt like. Like, I never saw the girl again. That's how bad I was. But at least she didn't blame it on Jesus. She just blamed it on the missions, and she blamed it on the cost of college.
Unbelievable, man. You great. Let me just tell you something. You just went right on past 4 engagement rings. I need to see receipts on those.
Well, you got one receipt because I actually married the 4th one, which is my wife now. 8 years, going on my 9th anniversary in June. But the other 3, you know, I mean, you can buy into the story that you want to settle down. You know how that goes. Like, hey, man, these streets are crazy. Yo, these girls crazy. Yo, you got a lot of money. You got to protect yourself. Find you one good woman and invest in that in a relationship and family. So I tried it 3 different times, and I realized, oh, they're not the problem. I'm not done being me. I must sow my royal oats, and I had to keep living, right? So I can't blame any of them in that situation. But just this whole topic right here, there's so much to learn because we all just feel that pull of look out for them, right? We're taught to share when we're little kids. I see it all the time, my kids. One gets a bag of Cheetos. Oh, give your sister some. Give your other sister some. Next thing you know, my boy's like, Daddy, I ain't got no Cheetos left. I just gave it all out. And I'm like, am I teaching him to be a trick? Am I teaching him to be the wrong guy growing up? But it's in all seriousness, you got to learn to teach people to get their own bag of Cheetos, basically, is what we're saying. Instead of like keep taking from you. And then when the golden goose can't lay the golden eggs, they certainly can't fend for themselves. I think that's the most damaging part about it, is that a lot of times you help people out and they're in the same predicament and circumstance even after you help them out, time in and time out. Did you feel that way too, John?
Dude, man, the teach a man to fish, not said by Jesus, but said by Jesus. Jesus didn't have any money, and he was even saying, yeah, I could give you a fish, but I'd rather teach you to fish because I don't have any fish to give you. So, like, go learn how to fish. And that's, look, we all want to be super generous. We all want to help our neighbors and our brothers and everyone else. And in my case, my business partner was my brother-in-law. And I only have one sister and my mom and my dad, and everybody got along and great. And I never had to deal with any kind of money issues in my family, thank God. But my close friends and friends who were around me, and I did have to deal with it. And it is right of saying, listen, you got to teach somebody. You have to say, listen, yes, I've been very fortunate, and just like this is one part about wealth that I find annoying and misunderstood. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They just are. I don't have anything against them. I don't hold it against them. I just say, well, listen, you were born into wealth. Therefore, I don't know if you are the best person to teach me how to be wealthy because you were given everything, and that's fine. And you don't look down on somebody who was given millions of dollars when they were born. They were a product of their environment, their situation. But there are some people like yourself and me who were not born with the silver spoon in their mouth. And I literally didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I went to New York and my dad said to me, son, dress poor. Do you want to know why? Because you are. You have nothing for someone to steal. Don't pretend. I'm like, you're right, Dad. I don't have any money. So I don't have any money. I had to earn every nickel that I got. And there's a lot of wisdom that you can impart on someone by saying nothing replaces hard work and vision. For you, look, you made it in the NFL. You made a lot of money, but you want to know what? No one just handed it to you. you had to work your ass off. You had to have
Yeah.
vision. You had to have discipline. You had to make decisions. And you're trying to pass it on not only to your children, but your family and your friends as well. And that's really the lesson is, look, do as I do. Like I'm trying to live a life that is positive, and it's a life that you can take something from. I don't want to just give it to you.
Yeah, man, I've learned that lesson now. I have that perspective now, sitting here at 48 years old. Oh, good luck trying to get something out of me. It's not because my heart's not big. It's just because it really has to help you. I'm not just trying to put a Band-Aid on whatever we're talking about right now. I'm talking about truly help you in psychology so that you can help yourself. Because no one wants to walk around and be under someone else's thumb, right? So I know you don't even want to ask me, being frank, because that's a weird feeling. But it's so many things that come from this. One, the power dynamic of family. Like when I was 21, all of a sudden, I got one check that was greater in sum than my mother's and father's career earnings combined. Imagine that. They worked their whole lives. Add up that mama, add up that daddy. Okay, and I got change, you know? And so the power dynamic shift. You're looking at mom, can she reprimand you the same? My mother felt that way. She felt comfortable. My dad, it started to shift. Like, how do you come at the son that you saying, boy, sit down, but at the same time, but before you sit down, can I get $5,000, right? So it just became kind of weird, right? That's one. Here's the misconception I want to get out there before we move on. That athletes go broke because, you know, the jewelry, the cars, chasing the girls, etc. Look, none of that helps. But you know why they go broke, quote unquote? It's because they try to buy the entire village that they got to bring with them. They try to get mama right, daddy right, auntie right, uncle right, cousins right, brothers right, sisters right. And that number is what all of a sudden comes back to haunt them. Because usually it's a mortgage. Usually it's something that you got to continue to invest in. And their circumstances are all dependent on you giving them that money. Meanwhile, between the ears, they're the same person. So guess what? They're going to always need you to bail them out. That's typically the story, more so than, oh, you're chasing all these little trinkets and things. No, it's actually coming from a place where their heart is so big that they actually can't say no to the village. So when you see all of that happen, it's just interesting being around money and knowing the value of it and not valuing it, giving it away in good faith, in good deed, but still not always for a good reason.